Hi, Nicky Tomalin here, and I'm the host of The Message. I'm going to take you into an elite cryptography think tank, and check it out. Their top project right now is to decode a highly classified radio transmission from the 1940s.
Have you listened to it yet?
Not yet. We're having a discussion about that. But if I offered you the chance to listen to it right now... sounds like a no.
Well, we don't really know what it is. Voices, music, breathing. But I'm not going to mess with that thing.
To sum it up, extraterrestrials. Subscribe to The Message on iTunes. I'm Nicole Tomalin, and you're listening to Cyphercast. Now, who wants to hear one of the most highly classified, I'm talking top secret radio transmissions ever recorded? I know. This is supposed to be Native Tongue, my little linguistics podcast, but Native Tongue is now Cyphercast. Because from now on, I'll be recording it from Cypher. Cypher is a private cryptography firm run by my two heroes in the fields of code breaking and encryption. So, how did I score an internship with my all-time idols? And more importantly, what the hell was that about a highly classified transmission? Well, here's what happened.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna take a message.
That's Jeanette Callan, one of the brilliant code breakers who works at Cypher. Not someone who should be answering phones. I'm just saying, if I was there right now, I'd be the one taking the message.
Okay, so basically, you have a linguistics degree from the University of Chicago, but you want to make us coffee for free if... What, again?
If you let me podcast about the work you guys do.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay, hold on a sec.
At this point, Jeanette puts me on hold for a long time. I know it's a Hail Mary. Why would Dr. Robin Lyons and Professor Ty Waldman, two of the nation's foremost code breakers, veterans of the NSA, beloved campus fixtures at Amherst, ever allow me to podcast about their private consulting enterprise? 5 minutes pass, then 10, then...
Ms. Tomlin?
Nikki's fine.
I'm supposed to tell you to take the 1:20 train to Albany, and someone is going to pick you up from the station.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also supposed to tell you to bring your recorder.
Now on the Amtrak from Penn Station to Albany, heading into some pretty hardcore unknown. Those of you who've been with me since July, and God love you, will remember my episode on Ty Waldman and Robin Lyons. I mean, I'm not going to meet them, obviously. I'm never going to meet them. Except they are sending a car. There isn't even a receptionist in the Cypher lobby. I'm left waiting there for close to half an hour when I hear a voice behind me.
You're the pod person, right? Or the podcaster,
yes,
that's you,
Nikki.
right?
Robin Lyons, executive director of Cypher, and basically the woman I want to be.
Yes, but Nikki's working?
The mic, yeah.
All of it?
Yes.
Is it great? Follow me.
Okay, yeah.
I follow Robin into her office, trying not to drop any of my stuff. And bam, there's Ty Waldman, just hanging out, just drinking a cup of water like he's not the coolest person ever. I'm freaked out. I think maybe 30 seconds pass before I even notice there's another person in the room, an older man in uniform.
Am I allowed to give her your name?
Lieutenant Colonel Perry Eubanks, ma'am.
Hey, Should I
meet you.
just...
Salute? Not necessary.
Colonel Eubanks, it turns out, is an old colleague of Robin and Ty's from their NSA days.
And just to clarify, Nikki, your recording equipment is live right now, yeah?
Yes.
So, Perry, if you really meant what you said about this being declassified, you won't mind saying it right now.
Can we sit down first, or...?
Right after you repeat the thing, on the record.
The NSA would like to hire Cypher to decode a message we have reason to believe was transmitted by an extraterrestrial.
Crazy town, right?
Now can we sit down? I'll say up front, you wouldn't be the first. A number of internal teams have taken a crack at it since 1945.
You kept this a secret for 70 years?
So, it turns out, in all that time, like 200 people connected with the NSA have tried to analyze this message. Colonel Eubanks put me in touch with one of the few guys still living who actually worked with those teams. He's retired warrant officer Ronald Pakai. Pakai is a former signal technician at Station Hypo in Pearl Harbor. And check it out, he actually knew the guy who was on deck the night this bizarre transmission came in.
Can you imagine what that poor guy must have thought?
It was just a 19-year-old petty officer who was then stationed at Hypo. On the evening of July 21st, 1945, this kid was simply monitoring wartime communications for Fleet Radio Unit Pacific. You know.
Static all day long. The occasional transmission, most of them friendly, is boring stuff. And then he hears that.
So he was pretty weirded out?
Just about shit his pants. Can you imagine a guy moaning on an overnight getting hit with, well, we don't really know what it is. Voices, music, breathing. Have you listened to it yet?
Not yet. We're having a discussion about that.
Oh, yeah. I bet I know what that's about. The curse, right?
Hold that thought. We'll come back to that. But let's rewind back to yesterday and Colonel Eubanks dropping that bombshell on Robin and Ty.
Why bring this to us now?
There's a documentary it's supposed to come out in the fall. Family members from 2 different decryption teams talking about messages from outer space. The government won't admit their loved ones were paid to translate. Just enough accurate info to make my colleagues uncomfortable. Now, standard practice in my field is deny everything and just wait it out. What I argued was, what's the point of standard practice here? It's 70 years old. What possible security interest are we protecting at this point? Why don't we just release it first and take the wind out of their sails?
And they went for that.
With every sentence, this sounds more and more like a conversation I shouldn't be hearing.
Right, so your basis for legitimately believing this transmission is of extraterrestrial origin is what exactly?
An earlier team determined that it met all 5 of SETI's standards for intelligent life.
What? So your basis for trusting their conclusions?
That team was led by Lewis Krell.
The mention of that name freezes the cup of water to Ty's lips.
If we do this, and I'm not saying we are, we do it publicly. Ms. Tomalin here will record it on her podcast so there will be an accessible document of the work we do.
You're not going to call my bluff here, Robin, because there's no bluff to call. I'm serious about this. I know it's a weird thing for a guy in my field to say, but I really think that open source is the future.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Perry.
Thanks, Perry.
Well, obviously, before we do anything, we're going to have to check everybody's work.
We're going to take it step by step.
Right.
At this point, Ty goes into his office to review the data that Eubanks left behind. Now, Cypher's not SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence Institute, but they can review the NSA's findings to see if they genuinely do meet SETI's standards. With Ty off taking this first stab at this, I take the opportunity to ask Robin.
So you guys have 14 years of collaboration under your belt?
God, is it that much?
I mean, that's longer than most marriages last.
Well, our actual marriages would probably like to see a bit more of us, but yes, it's one of those situations where 2 colleagues complement each other.
It seems like it's working.
Well, the money's a little, let's just say, a contract like this both lucrative and amazing PR, it could really be important for us. As long as it's not tinfoil hat nonsense.
At this point, Ty comes back from the other room looking very, very quiet. He hands his tablet loaded with Eubanks data to Robin.
I don't want to say anything, just read it.
As Robin disappears in the adjoining office with the tablet, Ty sits in the kind of silence where there is no right words to break it. I try anyway.
Seems like there must have been, at least something in the materials, or...
Pretend that for some reason you wanted to know absolutely everything about me, right? So, you sneak into my house while I'm at work.
Okay.
And you go through everything. Drawers, computers, back of the closet, under the bed, the whole house, inch by inch. And the whole time, you keep looking right past the empty carton of orange juice on the desk in my study. If you notice it at all, you just think, I guess Waldman's a slob. But what you don't know is that for basically my entire marriage, I've been drinking orange juice straight from the container and putting it back in the fridge. My wife has asked me to stop doing this for literally decades. She is at her wit's end. So this morning, when she finds yet another empty carton in the fridge, she places it prominently on the desk in my study. Now, it'll mean nothing to you, snooping around my house, but when I next enter my study and see it, it will say things to me that could never be said so powerfully in words, no matter how carefully chosen.
Wow.
Yeah, if it is real, if this is a real thing, we're not going to be able to crack it through any conventional means. There is going to be a carton of orange juice, it's going to be right in our faces, and we're going to keep staring right through it.
So you don't want to do it?
That's why I do want to do it.
About 10 minutes later, Robin comes back in with the same glassy look in her eyes that Ty just had. The two of them deliver a master class in nonverbal communication. They silently agree to call Eubanks together.
Are you guys going to make me a happy man or what?
All I'm agreeing to is to take it to the team for a more thorough vetting, but just back of the envelope looks promising.
And?
Provisionally, pending review, we're in.
Well, then I am a happy man. How about that?
So when can I play it?
I'm sorry, is that the podcast lady?
Yeah, look, why don't we follow up with this?
Can I play it on my show?
Yeah.
I mean, this is...
Yeah, we'll get back to that.
But I don't get an answer to this question, at least not today. No one says why, but I've kind of got an idea. This is a bit I didn't play you before from my interview with Ronald Pakai.
Have you listened to it yet?
Not yet. We're having a discussion about that.
Oh, yeah. I bet I know what that's about. The curse, right?
I'm sorry, did you say the curse?
Yeah, the curse of the message. Nobody's told you about this yet? Well, there's an outside chance that it kills people.
For more on this curse, and hopefully the world premiere broadcast of the message itself, join me next week for part 2 of Cyphercast. Welcome back to Cyphercast. I'm Nicky Tomalin, and this is part 2 of this brand spanking new podcast. I'm following a team of top-shelf codebreakers as they attempt to translate the first ever verified message from an extraterrestrial civilization. Now, there's lots of exciting new stuff to share with you, but first, I promise I won't be coy. Yes, you will hear the message in this episode. Right at the end of it, in fact. But by then, you might not want to. 3 days ago, Dr. Robin Lyons and Professor Ty Waldman agreed to formally consider the NSA contract to decode/translate the message. Today, they've called a meeting of the Cipher staffers they would assign to the project, if they definitely take it.
I'm doing a podcast on Cipher.
Wait, they went for that?
Right.
So, pioneers, good morning.
Find a seat, please. This is serious. It's either a huge opportunity that could put this team on the map or could make us a laughingstock. And if we get a whiff of that, we're out. In the meantime, let's begin.
Can I say previously on Cybercast?
All right.
Please. Previously on Cybercast. Tara Eubanks, NSA, old colleague of Ian Robbins, shows up at the end of last week with a freshly declassified recording of a transmission picked up by a Navy signal station in 1945. Originally called Transmission 72145, it never gets a proper designation and ends up being known only as the message. In the last 70 years, 5 different decryption teams have attempted and failed to determine what, if any, statement the message is trying to convey to its recipients. As Robin correctly points out, we don't want to buy a pig in a poke here, so let's play our game entitled Convince Robin the Message Really Is from an Extraterrestrial. So, SETI proposes 5 relevant factors to determine if a signal was generated by an extraterrestrial intelligence: repetition, spectral width, extrasolar origin, metadata, and Terran or earthbound elimination. You've each been assigned to present on one of these topics in the hopes of persuading the unpersuadable Robin.
I'm not unpersuadable. I just need more. Remember, this is all secondary sources. We haven't even listened to the message yet.
So who had repetition? Jeanette.
Yes. And thank you for giving the cushy one to the English major.
We met Jeanette Callan briefly last week on the phone. She is Cipher's resident expert in unpacking literary or cultural references in any text they're trying to decode.
So, Robin, repetition is super basic. If the exact same information is being transmitted over and over again in clear, definable iterations, then the odds are that the transmission's artificial. So, I borrowed the use of Tamara's analyzing software, and I definitely see, and I hope that you can see as well, that the transmission repeats every 28 seconds.
Jeanette agreed to speak to me after the meeting about the work she does for Cipher. Like, what are you looking for in this project right now?
Well, what I'm looking for in any text is any kind of pre-existing cultural information. So, like literature, music, visual iconography, symbols, anything that has widespread association or traditions. A recognizable cultural reference is like a piece of DNA.
So what kind of DNA are we looking at here, specifically?
Nothing from this planet, which sort of raises the question of what I'm doing on this gig.
Back in the meeting, it was Tamara's turn to sell Robin on spectral width. Now, it wouldn't be surprising if some of you already know who Tamara Wiley is. You've probably heard her name in the news. You know those high-profile hacks lately? She's been developing cutting-edge password systems to prevent them in the future.
So a random signal quite often will use up a lot of the radio spectrum. A targeted signal, by definition, will take up less. That's how we make sure every radio station gets its own frequency. And according to this spectrum analyzer, the message comes in at well under 300 hertz standard established by SETI.
Meaning something intelligent made it.
Not just made it, targeted it.
Excellent, Tamara. And for our next trick?
Okay, hello, Nikki.
Hi.
My name is Maud. So my preferred pronouns are they and them.
I'm sorry, your preferred pronouns?
Just so it doesn't get weird later.
We honor that in this workplace.
Of course,
Yes,
of
yes.
course.
Almost as much as we honor Maud's forthcoming explanation of extrasolar origin.
Okay, so I can't really explain it myself, but what I can tell you is how the goofballs I eavesdrop on explain it.
It's not hard for me to guess what Maud does for Cipher. I'm sure that Robin and Ty need fairly regular access to, let's say, not readily available data, and I'm guessing Maud makes it readily available. Maud spreads out two complex charts in front of Robin.
So this one here is from your guy Eubanks, and this one is a comparable simulation of the trajectory of an extrasolar transmission.
Do I want to know where this came from?
I mean, it's a pretty big deal place, and you know some
Okay,
people
just continue.
there. Okay, so, all right, we need to confirm that the signal came from outside our solar system.
Thank you. I know what extrasolar means.
Okay, so as far as I could learn, there is this thing called sidereal time where you're like basically...
Tracking the movement of the Earth relative to the astronomical bodies that aren't the sun.
Thanks, Tamara. Okay, so if you can nail down the sidereal travel time of the signal, then plug that figure into a parallax triangulation equation, you can get the ballpark on the point of origin. If by ballpark you mean a really huge amount of space. So, the triangulation your guy gave us for the message ballparks in the M4 Scorpius globular cluster, which is, you know, far. So, I compared that to the simulation from the distinguished place whose name I'm not going to say because you'll get mad, and the process and the numbers match. This is what extrasolar looks like.
Quick sidebar, not only did I talk to Maud after the meeting, I also made a point of talking to Robin about Maud.
Yes, they've been vetted. I oversaw that process myself.
And there weren't any red flags?
Pages and pages of red flags. But they were the red flags I was looking for.
Maud was equally vague when we spoke later.
Yeah, I definitely, I made some trouble for myself at like a few junctures.
Yeah?
Yeah. You gotta understand what it's like in the community. It's super competitive, so we all try to pull bigger and bigger stunts, you know?
You're talking about like the hacker community?
Oh,
or
Christ, hacker.
Black hat?
Oh, God, you're killing me.
Okay, so I maybe I just don't know what the current parlance
Oh,
is.
yeah, I don't know. I'm inside it. It's like when you're inside it, it's just like the guys. That's the gender non-specific meaning of guys, by the way.
Back in the meeting,
Nicky, did you do your homework?
Yes, thank you.
Metadata?
Right, metadata. The idea that a transmission from an intelligent civilization would not only be repeated, but also organized in its presentation. Like how a book has a table of contents and then chapters to correspond with it. Basically, any piece of material that gives you instructions on how to consume it.
So wait, so now you're going to tell me that the message has a table of contents?
Well, metadata was new back when we were working on the message. A lot of people in the field kind of rolled their eyes at it.
So remember last week when I spoke to that naval signal engineer in Hawaii, Ronald Pakai? Pakai was at Station Hypo when the message was recorded in 1945, and then later he went on to work directly with the message's most famous failed decoder. That was NSA cryptographer and Ty's personal hero, Lewis Krell.
Lewis was one of the first people in military cryptography to sign off on the idea of metadata. Now everybody thinks in those terms today.
Colonel Eubanks not only cleared Ronald Pakai to speak freely with me about Lewis Krell and the message, he also ordered Station Hypo archives to send any message-related materials to us.
So the people down at Archives were very kind, and they dug deep into the records and were able to track down this. Lewis Krell's analysis of the organizational structure of the message. Krell identified a sound heard only at the start and the conclusion of each iteration. A sound that doesn't recur at any other point during the transmission.
Signifying the beginning and the end.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he thought.
Which leaves only Terran elimination. That's the biggest thing that could blow up in our faces. Mistaking a signal from this planet for a signal from another doesn't get much more embarrassing than that. That's why we have to eliminate any possibility of Earth-based origin.
Ronald Pakai cited Terran elimination as one of Lewis Krell's biggest obsessions.
He had us reaching out to all these weird signal stations in all kinds of far-flung places. All these private radio operators Immensely time-consuming.
Because he was afraid that the message was...
Afraid that it might turn out to be, I don't know, somebody's ham radio left on during dinner somewhere. We interviewed hundreds of former soldiers who worked at transmitting stations during World War II on both sides and listened to hundreds of recordings.
Mm-hmm. And nothing sounded like the message.
Not even close. How would you make a sound like that?
Later, having leafed through the Lewis Krell documents, Robin is now skimming a detailed account of the investigation Pakai described.
I want more time with the Krell material.
Of course, absolutely. But, assuming we're reading all this data correctly...
If the message didn't originate from Earth or anywhere in our solar system, if it's repetitive, targeted, and organized...
Then we're forced to conclude... Aliens, guys.
The glee on Ty's face totally infects the room. But I tell the team what Pakai told me. Lewis Krell was one of 29 different code breakers to die while working on the message. They were all under the age of 50, and this was not during wartime. The people making the documentary that started all of this, they're all children of those code breakers. None of them will talk to me, but Pakai remembers Krell's death. So, about the curse, Lewis Krell died pretty suddenly? Respiratory disease, right?
And he was the only one at Station Hypo who didn't smoke. You know, secondhand wasn't even a thing we were thinking about back then. But then it came up so fast.
The lung cancer.
Yeah. And then the other two top guys died that same year.
Oh.
The whole project fell apart pretty fast after that. I got shuffled into some other thing and pretty much quit thinking about it, except every once in a while I'd read a military obit about another code breaker dying young.
But you listened to the message.
Oh, sure, once. Maybe twice at the outside. But for me, it was need to hear only for comparison's sake. The guys on that team who died were like Lou. Listened every day.
Mm-hmm.
But there was that civilian observer, Anders, or whatever his name was, listened to it on a daily basis right next to Lou. And as far as I know, he's led a long and happy life. So, yeah. Intellectually, I know there's no curse.
Okay, but if I offered you the chance to listen to it right now... yeah. That sounds like a no.
And that's an old man saying no. So take from that what you will. But you know, I'm not going to mess with that thing.
Back in the meeting, I've just explained all this to the team.
Yeah, but different causes, right?
I mean, I'm scrolling through these guys on the death certificate archive right now, and I am seeing liver cancer, I'm seeing heart attack, embolism.
Then what are we even talking about?
This just kind of sounds like how people die in regular life.
Yeah, exactly.
It's maybe a little statistically weird, but that happens.
And this recording is where exactly? Right now?
I have it here on my laptop.
What? Damn, dude, fire that shit up.
And Ty looks at Robin, and she looks back at him. We're doing this, aren't we? So Robin reaches her hand out to her keyboard and plays the message. And of course, I was there recording, which means I'm about to play it for you. So, same disclosure to you guys that they gave us. 29 people died trying to make sense of the sounds you're about to hear. But that's 29 people out of more than 200 who worked on it over 70 years. So, it's up to you. If that freaks you out, you might want to hit the pause button right now and then delete this podcast. If not, then please sit back, make yourself comfortable, and listen to the first confirmed communication from outer space. It's message time. What the hell did we just hear? Let's see if we can find out next week on Cyphercast. What do you hear? Listen close with me. Is that a voice? Is it more than one voice? Are they speaking? Singing? I think about those wine aficionados who can take a sip and say, "That's orange peel, raspberries, tannins." And then I sip the same wine and have to pretend I taste those things. It can be hard to parse out the component parts. But wine's not just for experts. Anyone can drink, and anyone can listen. These sounds were made by intelligent life on another planet. They were sent across the vastness of space to our ears. I'm Nicky Tomalin. Welcome to part 3 of Cyphercast.
Man, I wiped the steam off the mirror, and before I can even get an eyeful of my glistening nude body,
This actually occurred.
I see reflected in the mirror the ghost of the alien from the mist.
Oh.
Guys, I think I'm cursed.
I'm gonna go do some actual work.
This is Maud, Jeanette, and Tamara raiding the lounge for breakfast snacks.
It's like a cosmic chain letter. I have to pass it on to one of you in the next 5 days, or I get probed.
I've got to admit, I want them to like me as much as I like them, but it's hard to break the ice when you're always carrying a microphone. And it's doubly hard when your boss gives you an assignment that seems specifically designed to annoy everyone. 2 days after the team meeting where Cypher decided to take on the message, Ty gave me this particular assignment.
Ty said what?
He told me to bring Jeanette over to your station and document you solving the mystery.
What mystery?
The mystery of why Jeanette is even working on the message in the first place.
He said those words, why Jeanette is even...
Why you? I mean, why is it a big mystery that you would be working on the message?
Because there's nothing here for my specialty. I do linguistic and cultural associations, but I don't know the culture of planet Zardox 5 or wherever it is this comes from. I don't know what this message means to whoever lives there.
God damn it. This is a Ty Waldman mind game, isn't it?
It is a Ty Waldman mind game. He and Robin had talked me through their reasoning earlier that morning.
Okay, 2 ways to lead someone to an answer. Straight up hand it to them, or give them the question and make them find the answer.
The point of Cypher isn't to create a Ty Waldman vanity boutique. That's just not sustainable.
And Ty reaches out and pats her clumsily on the upper arm.
She means that I'm not sustainable.
Well, that too, old man.
So the goal is to cultivate people who think like Ty?
Oh God, no, that's just the first step. The goal is they think better than I do.
Getting back to the situation with Tamara and Jeanette, I gotta hand it to them. They picked up Ty's challenge pretty fast.
Okay then, fine. If it's mind games, let's play mind games. What are the clues?
Well, right off the bat, I think it's something that you and I can work out together, Jeanette.
Okay. And it needs to happen specifically at your workstation and not mine.
So, if Ty wanted us to be at my workstation...
Well, what are you working on right now?
What I always do with audio. Model it, break it down.
Tamara scrolls through 5 different screens that are hooked up to her laptop. Each one highlights a different aspect of the sound wave. What are you looking for with all this?
Looking for? Nothing at this stage. It's more like looking at. Hit the playback.
Okay. I'm never gonna get used to that.
Now, Any complex sound is composed of a mix of audio frequencies. So what's on the screen now is a spectrograph. It's like a map of all the different frequencies contained inside the message. You've got lower frequencies down here at the bottom. Those are the deep sort of bassy sounds you're hearing. And then at the top are the high frequencies, the high-pitched sounds. A lot of this is kind of a mess, but here. You can kind of see these sort of shapes and patterns emerging. One thing I'm trying to do is figure out how these different frequency patterns relate to each other. So I've tried to isolate each pattern, and I've run them by a couple of colleagues who are a little better versed than I am at this.
We can just talk to people about this?
There's a lady standing right there with a microphone. I'm pretty sure we can talk to whoever we want.
You've been listening to that on headphones.
So? Okay, I've had a few nightmares. Big deal.
But if you're making calls this early on, you think you have something.
Maybe. If we assume that this works like a human-made recording, I bet that each one of those patterns indicates a different sound source. Multiple things, multiple entities emitting sound all at once.
Play it again. What do you hear, Nicky?
And here it is, the moment I always dread. The wine connoisseur handing the glass across the table to me, saying, "Sip, and tell me what you taste."
Well, I guess voices, obviously, right?
No, not obviously. Oh. Never say obviously.
But if we're acknowledging that that is an assumption, let's follow it and see where it goes. If they were talking, they wouldn't all be talking at the same time, right?
We talk at the same time every day. Every meeting, every brainstorming
Yeah, but not
session.
for like 30 straight seconds. After 10 seconds, we give each other turns so that we can hear each other.
Mostly true.
Right? And, all right, play it again. But that doesn't happen here. It's multiple voices running concurrently but not interrupting each other. What does that suggest?
Are they singing?
Why would you say that?
Well, there's just a sort of like sing-songy quality to it.
I think this is multiple voices singing in a kind of call and response. Tamara, I think this is a choir.
And there it is. Mystery solved. That's why Ty wants you on this project.
This conversation perfectly illustrates something Ty said to me earlier.
Never squash your silly idea. No, at least give it a chance. And some of the best work I did on my whole career came from ideas that, at first, I was embarrassed to even say out loud.
Jeanette has clearly internalized that lesson because she doesn't hesitate.
Maybe it's like a chant? Maybe part of a ritual? I need to start digging into the whole history of choral music. Oh, man. Contrapuntal music, call and response.
Sure, knock that off by
Everything
lunch.
we've made in our history that's similar. So I can connect the dots and
Isn't
go
it
back to
funny?
the origin and see if something fills in the gaps.
Sorry.
Are you okay?
No, I'm
Tamara, what's going on?
fine. I just...
Tamara, do you want some water? Here, let me get you some water.
No,
Hey, what's going on? Are you okay? Hey, sit down.
I just need to catch my breath.
Did you... Here, have some water. I think she's okay. I think
panic
something's-
attack?
I think something's...
Oh my god!
She just hit her.
Tamara, are you okay? What is going on? Okay, go. I think 911 now.
Okay,
While I'm scrambling to find a phone, Jeanette kneels helplessly over Tamara, who's lying on the ground, breathing like she's dragging the air through honey. I don't have anything usable recorded after that. I'm taping this about 2 hours after what you just heard. The paramedics have left with Tamara, with Robin riding along in the back. And I guess I don't know what I'm gonna do. What am I gonna do? This has been episode 3 of Cyphercast. I really, really hope we'll see you next week. I'm Nicky Tomalin, and this is Cyphercast. Tamara is in intensive care right now at Rochester University Medical. She's on a ventilator. They're calling her condition stable in the sense that it's not currently getting worse, but she's unable to breathe without assistance and can't speak at all. And the scariest part is they just don't know what's wrong with her. Based on what they're seeing, the doctors say what it looks like most is emphysema, but Tamara's 34. She's never been a smoker. I'm in Tamara's room. Tamara, first of all, let me just say everybody sends their very best wishes to you. So, for listeners, Tamara is on a ventilator with a mask. So, Robin brought her this keyboard so you can answer questions without taxing your lungs too much. Tamara's nodding right now, and God. I'm sorry, I should have made this a regular visit, not about the podcast. So Tamara's typing on her keyboard. Do you want me to just read okay. So what she's written, it looks like this is just a fragment of it so far. It says, "Body needs all my energy to breathe. None left for what I need." So real me, inside, is scared and bored and screaming. Do you want to add anything? That's fine. She actually seems to be barely conscious right now. So I think, let's see, she's typing. There's a city made of song. What does that mean, Tamara? Tamara, what does that mean?
Let's just talk through her symptoms, okay?
Ty, the subject is closed, okay? Moving on.
I am not talking about taking over her treatment. I'm talking about a simple list of symptoms on the whiteboard.
Tamara has excellent medical professionals working on this right now, and nothing's going to help her less than a bunch of cryptographers playing backseat diagnosticians.
God damn it.
All right, clear the room.
It's a weird feeling being among a team of people agonizing over a fallen friend. Mostly, I'm just trying to keep out of everyone's way. So I'm grateful when Jeanette leans over to me and says,
God, look at that.
Jeanette's peeking through the window into the conference room. In there, Robin and Ty are talking softly, with their foreheads almost touching.
Do you know what I'm never getting?
What?
Married.
But they're not. She leaves quickly. Inside the conference room, Ty stays for a long time after Robin leaves, just sitting in a chair.
What's on your mind?
The curse.
But 2 hours later,
Conference room!
he comes bounding out onto the main floor.
Surprise meeting!
On his way, Ty stops by my desk.
Take down the podcast.
Excuse me?
Your podcast, take them offline.
Now.
Now. Okay, so you've heard of the American Center for Image-Guided Therapy in Baltimore? Well, for 6 years now, they've been running trials on targeted ultrasound waves that can kill cancer tissue. They've seen limited success with a few kinds of tumors, brain, bone, breast, things like uterine fibroids.
Sorry, can I just
Hold your
interject
questions for
a
now,
second?
please, Maud.
Now, meanwhile, the Foundation for Music Wellness Research in Portland, they're showing measurable results in using music therapy to reduce Parkinson's tremors. Now, go to...
Look, can we can't seriously be talking about trying to
Ginny,
treat
I
Tamara.
asked you to hold your question.
This isn't a question. This is an ethical
All right.
objection. None of us are doctors.
Right here in Niskayuna, New York, they have a medical physicist named Dr. Singh, Dr. Kalpana Singh. She's injecting microscopic bubbles into people's brains and then using targeted sound waves to jiggle them. This creates temporary perforation in the blood-brain barrier, allowing crucial medications to get through. I mean, once you start looking for this stuff, it's everywhere. Bottom line, there is a credible preponderance of evidence to suggest that sound can be an effective tool in the practice of medicine. And once you grant that, then it's pretty hard not to grant the opposite hypothesis. That you can create a sound that can make someone sick. Maybe that's the curse.
Nikki, how fast can you take the podcast down?
I've already asked her to take them down.
Third-party sites, iTunes.
I've got the ball started.
Yeah, well, okay, if they give you any trouble, put me in touch.
Guys, this is still just a wild hypothesis that
If
we're
it's
making.
nothing,
I mean,
we'll
is
put
there
them
any-
right back up. Maud, you're with me. I've got a job for you.
All
Actually, 2 jobs.
As many as you need.
Everyone else hang tight.
Hey, Robin? Well, Robin asked me to stop by her office just to give her an update, but she's not here. She has a sofa in her office, a pillow, and a bed sheet, and a reading lamp rigged to one of the arms. She's a workaholic, but she only lives 20 minutes away. And she is married. Oh shit! Oh my gosh, that totally startled me. Probably because I shouldn't be in here. Okay, so it's a text from Robin. Meeting in conference room, 20 minutes. Okay.
Okay. Guys, get settled fast. We're looking at a situation here. Okay, everybody settled? Earlier this afternoon, Maud put together a Venn diagram for me. One circle contains hospitals with patients having similar complaints as Tamara's. The other is regional downloads of Nicky's podcast. I asked Maud to check how many of the patients downloaded episodes 2 and or 3 of the podcast, the ones where the message was played.
And how would you know if
Don't
they
worry
were...
about it.
So you mean you
Don't
just
worry
would...
about it.
And the look Robin gives me would freeze magma. Does she know I was in her office?
Maud?
Alright, so, I've got a total of 73 cases answering to both criteria.
Same symptoms and listen to the podcast.
Exactly.
Okay, but come on, guys. This is exactly the sort of thing that you're always honest to be skeptical about. Confirmation bias.
I also have another 34 cases I am close to confirming. People with Tamara symptoms in high download geographic clusters. I just can't tie the downloads to their specific devices.
I'm not saying it's not a
Yet.
thing. I'm just saying, is it enough of a thing to be actionable?
Fortunately, it doesn't have to be a discussion. I want a full clampdown on the message starting right this second. Nikki, those episodes are down?
No, we can't put the shit back in the donkey. They've already been. What? Nikki, how many How many downloads so far?
After Boing Boing covered us, we were up to like 10,000 an episode. I can get you the exact numbers.
Maud
if
can
you'd
get those. Okay, people, until we know more, this project is suspended.
Now, hold on.
Until we have some better idea of the state of play here, no one, and I mean no one, listens to the message.
But how are we going, if we don't listen to it, we don't...
Enough. This isn't a research issue. This is an employee safety issue. Is that understood?
But Robin, it's a safety issue for Tamara, too. Maybe more for her than for any of us. I mean, she's the one who's actively in danger. This isn't discovery anymore. It's necessity. We have to crack this thing now.
Everyone's excused except for Nicky and Maud.
We're not done here.
Everyone's excused except for Nicky and Maud.
Me?
Yes, thank you. Maud and I will be with you in a minute.
I'm waiting alone in this conference room for whatever Robin and Maud want to talk to me about. And, I can see them actually through the glass window in the conference room, and they're both just looking at Maud's computer right now and deep in conversation. I have to tell you something. I didn't do it. I didn't take the episodes down. So I don't know. I don't know where we are. I don't know what's going to happen, but... Okay, Robin and Maud are... Oh, hi. Hi, guys. Do we just turn off the mic real quick?
I prefer that you leave it on. I'd like what we say in here to be documented.
Okay.
Tell your listeners what's happening.
Okay, Maud is putting a laptop in front of me, and I am looking at some information. I'm not totally sure what...
What you're looking at is evidence that the bulk of your graduate career in linguistics is a fiction. So my first question for you is, why are you here?
I'm Nicky Tomalin, and this is Cyphercast. I removed episodes 2 and 3 from my website, and I've asked third-party apps to do the same. I know there's going to be a curiosity factor now. I know they're going to be huge on the torrents and file-sharing sites, and I can't stop you from listening to them, but just please, please don't. You've probably heard this already from news reports and public health alerts, but it can't be said enough. If you listen to this podcast in any form, headphones, in your car, from the next room, and you experience any shortness of breath, please seek medical attention immediately. On my site, there's a list of medical centers that are specifically set up for pulmonary anomaly 1, or PA1. But if you can't get to one of those, get to some hospital, or call 911. Previously on Cyphercast, the biggest humiliation of my life.
What you're looking at is evidence that the bulk of your graduate career in linguistics is a fiction.
Robin and Maud had called me into the conference room and confronted me about my faked university record.
So my first question for you is, why are you here?
I've decided to let the conversation just play out.
Maud, what did you find?
Okay, so basically, a crazy-ass piece of malware. It routed any request for Nicole Tomalin transcripts to a mirror site with a different host. Can I ask who did this, by the way? Like, who did you hire? Because I don't say this shit lightly. Respect.
In your estimation, Maud, how much of Nicky Tomalin's graduate studies actually took place?
I mean, look, I like you, Nicky. Okay, like the first year, 2012 looks kosher-ish.
Can I just turn off this?
Nicky, do you have a master's degree in linguistics from the University of Chicago?
Well, I attended the University of Chicago.
Do you have a master's degree in linguistics?
No.
So you did complete fall 2012 and spring 2013.
Yes.
But not either of the next 2 years.
A bit.
Yes.
I did a bit of the fall 2013.
But you
first
represented
semester.
to us that you had completed a master's degree.
Yes, and I'm so sorry
No,
because
thank you. Let's not do that. Do you know why I asked Maud to look into your background?
Did a listener or someone contact you?
Yeah,
or,
I wondered about that. Weren't you ever concerned that someone from Chicago would hear the podcast and say, "Oh, Nicky Tomalin, didn't she go to school for a year and then vanish?"
I've been terrified of exactly that.
But you still brought your podcast here.
I thought I've been lucky so far. So stupid.
Why do you think I directed Maud to look into your background?
I don't know.
Because when Tamara fell ill, you were sitting right in front of her.
Wait, what? You think
Poisoned her? No, I don't think that anymore.
Yeah, as many cases as there are now, you couldn't be everywhere.
But I had to look into it because Tamara's one of mine. So in light of that, are you, in fact, Nicole Tomalin?
Yes. You can ask. I have pictures I can show you.
No, I'm pretty sure she is.
And why did you leave your program in fall 2013? There's no point in hesitating. Eventually you'll say it.
I started drinking.
You started drinking?
No, I continued drinking. It didn't start then.
I see.
I woke up in a, do I have to keep,
No. I assume the point is you had the moment.
I dropped out of everything. Went into recovery. Spent a year not even trusting myself to leave
But here you are.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
I followed you and Ty, all of your work for years. Every paper, every talk, every video, anything either of your names were ever on. I thought I was. God, I can't believe I'm going to say this with you looking at me right now.
You can't make this any worse.
I thought I was destined to work with you, and I thought it was so unfair that I'd have to push that back so many years, and
But those years would have been your life.
Weird.
I spend 11 hours a day studying the effort deception requires. There's nothing less energy efficient than a lie.
So you'd have to have a really good reason.
Is that what you
Here's
did?
one.
Well, really good reason?
I was oh my God, shit! Maud, hey, you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah, 187 Water Street in Rochester. We need an ambulance. We need to go to the pulmonary division at Rochester Medical. Tell them it's PA1. They'll send the right people.
Catch one.
What? Who am I talking to right now?
What? What's going on? What are they saying?
They're saying we can't leave.
What?
Not even Maud.
Maud.
Who is this?
It's okay.
Who says we can't leave? Well, a bunch of soldiers, apparently. At first, I can't tell their specific affiliation or why they're here. They won't take Maud to the hospital, but they will bring the hospital to Maud. I can see them in the lobby setting up a triage clinic, but they're wearing hazmat suits. Yeah, hazmat suits. This is what happens when I try to approach Maud's bed.
That's as far as you go.
Specifically? Like right here, I should just imagine there's a line all the way.
Ma'am.
all right. I'm backing up.
Keep doing
yes,
so.
Yes, sir. I'm backing up.
Robin texts me to come to her office ASAP. I'm delirious from everything that's happened, so I somehow think she wants to continue my inquisition. But when I get inside, I see Colonel Eubanks.
And I'm confirming now, Nicky can record this. Please don't nod, Perry.
Yes.
Please vocally confirm, okay?
Yes, all right, yes.
None of this is classified. All of this is public.
We don't have a choice. If we hope to contain this outbreak, we can't hold back any information.
All right.
I wanted to tell you myself. Someone else will be in my place tomorrow, but I owe it to you to hear it directly from me. I'm resigning.
What?
At this point, Ty and Jeanette come rushing in. They had been detained on the second floor.
Why the hell is it Maud in a
My
hospital?
daughter
Wait,
is
what the hell are
outside.
you
She's
doing?
saying that soldiers are
Guys,
telling her
wait,
she can't
guys,
come in to see her father.
Guys, wait. Perry, go on.
Tamara Wiley passed away shortly before 3 p.m. today.
Wait, what?
God.
What are you saying? What does that mean?
Ty,
Oh my God.
has her family been informed?
I'll be making that phone call as soon as I get back to my office.
I'll make the call.
Are you sure?
I'd prefer to do it in person.
I can't let you do that.
Wait, what do you mean you can't let us do that?
Today we confirmed 3 cases of pulmonary anomaly 1 in patients who did not listen to the podcast,
Then how are they even...
but who interacted in close quarters with people who did.
You think it's contagious?
This building is under quarantine. If you want to talk to Miss Wiley's family, Robin, you'll have to do it by phone.
Whoa. Hold on. What do you mean?
We don't even know for sure that the message has anything to do. We're all massively overreacting to a theory.
There was a snafu in our records.
A snafu?
Somewhere in the switchover from paper to computerized records, some information was transferred wrong. I don't know how it happened.
The death certificates.
The electronic records said that the people who worked on the message died from a variety of ailments, but the original paper records listed identical symptoms.
They all died from PA1.
That's why I'm resigning. I may have played a crucial role in releasing an extraterrestrial plague onto the population. You'll have food, you'll have water, you'll have medical attention to the extent that we can provide it, but until we get some kind of a handle on this, you cannot leave.
Jesus. I have to make some calls. I
Go.
have to...
Do something for me, Perry. Before you give notice, give me the full classified file on the message.
Come on, Robin.
No one else has to see it. It can just be me. But every scrap.
I don't know, Robin.
If we're all going to die here, I want them to find us dead at our desks looking for a solution. Please, Perry.
I'll make it happen.
Thank you.
So that's where we are. I'm taping this from the carpet I'm about to sleep on as I spend my first night at Cypher, effectively under house arrest. This has been episode 5 of Cyphercast, and unless they cut off the Wi-Fi, there's going to be an episode 6. Cypher can't get rid of me. We're stuck with each other until we solve this. Or don't. Hopefully, see you next week.
That was the CDC providing confirmation now of 10 patients with pulmonary anomaly 1 who report never downloading or knowingly listening to
NSA
Cyphercast.
representatives are so far unwilling to confirm that Lieutenant Colonel Perry Eubanks passed along a classified file.
Even following her confessions on the now notorious 5th episode of Cyphercast, there are questions still shadowing the fraudulent academic career of podcast host Nicky Tomalin.
Medical professionals can only reiterate that PA1 remains resistant to every form of respiratory therapy, and that patients can only be kept alive on medical ventilators.
I'm Nicky Tomalin, and this is Cyphercast. When your podcast goes from 300 listeners to just under 1 million overnight, one thing that happens is you get a lot more hate mail. To all of you, I say, I am almost certainly going to die here within the next week or two. So, can that be enough for you? All right. Last week, you might remember, Robin asked the NSA for the full classified file on the message. Well, she got it, but...
They wouldn't let you keep it? For real? It was that or not seeing the file at all, Jeanette.
But that's information we need.
Which I will repeat to you in detail. My memory's not photographic, but it's pretty goddamn good.
Lewis Carroll's original notes!
The NSA's in panic mode. They know they've screwed up massively. They're not going to declassify anything else until they've vetted it at a microscopic level. By which time we might all be dead. Everything I remember you will have, okay? That's the outer limit of what I can do.
At this point, Jeanette is giving me a full-on death stare.
Why is she here? Because I asked her. Do we really have to do this in front of a confessed liar and cyber criminal? I asked her to be here. I don't know if any of us will be alive in a week. The second they lift the quarantine, she's gone. But as long as we're stuck with her, I want a record.
And at least while we're stuck here, the NSA has made sure we are really well fed and watered. Actually, Ty has a theory about that.
We're lepers, right? But we're incredibly valuable lepers. Every other decryption team in the civilized world is trying to figure out how to crack the message without actually listening to it. But us, we're already dead.
Could you say that again? I don't know if you were smiling enough. I know where you're going with this, Ty, and you might as well forget it.
No. If it's communicable, we all have it. We are dead cryptographers walking, so let's use that.
You think in a million years I would clear you to expose yourself to a hazardous element?
Where else are we going to start? This is our only lead.
Shit, he's right.
Release the message back into the network.
I don't take orders from you, Ty. You're not my superior. You're my responsibility. Maud is your responsibility. All those sick people out there are your responsibility.
No, they're not. The work is your responsibility. Don't protect us. Protect what we learn. Protect what we contribute. Look, maybe decoding or translating the message is the cure to PA1. Maybe it'll help our friend. And I hope it does, but it may not. And we have to be able to say at the start that we're okay with that. That all we might do here is contribute to the store of human knowledge before we die.
You guys are gonna kill me.
You built this team brick by brick. You want to go down fighting? This is fighting.
So Robin has released the message back into the Cypher network. We're under instructions to strictly limit playback. Right after the meeting, Jeanette and I leave while Robin repeats information from the file to Ty. Then they talk for about half an hour in that weird way they do, heads close together, like they're trying to beam thoughts to each other. Then Ty goes to his office and he makes a call that lasts for a very long time.
I think it's Connie.
His wife? You think he's calling to tell her that he's about to risk his life?
That's probably part of it.
What's the other part?
I hate that I want to talk to you. I think they're breaking up.
So right now, he is on the phone with his wife saying, I'm about to die and I want a divorce.
Which one of those do you lead with?
I know, right? It's the worst phone call.
Hi, honey.
2 days pass. 2 days of me not interviewing the team about their progress because I am scared of hearing the message. I camp out near Maud's bed and try and get some work done when
Maud? Hey, wait, what'd you just say?
I scramble to find my recording from Tamara in the hospital.
Let's see, she's typing, there's a city made of song. What does that mean, Tamara?
I knew that phrase sounded familiar. I'm thinking, Do I take this to Robin? But what if it's nothing? My hand-wringing is interrupted because right then,
Ma'am, you cannot do that!
a soldier in the lobby has noticed a woman taking off her hazmat suit.
Stop right now. If you undo that seal, you cannot leave this building.
Yes, thank you. That's the idea.
Don't shoot. I'm not armed.
You're Nicky. Excuse me? Nicole Tomalin, and this is Cyphercast.
Stay there. I need to call this in.
I figured they wouldn't let me stay, so I made it impossible for them to let me leave.
But why would you want to stay here?
Well, I had some thoughts.
So remember a couple episodes back when Ty first brought up the idea of sound-based medicine?
Right here in Niskayuna, New York, they have a medical physicist named Dr. Singh. Dr. Kalpana Singh. She's injecting microscopic bubbles into people's brains and then using targeted sound waves to jiggle them. This creates a temporary perforation in the blood-brain barrier, allowing crucial medications to get through.
Dr. Kalpana Singh. Well, this is her. She's here. She spends some time on the phone to her people, telling them where she is and why. After that, she's in the conference room, telling us the same.
It's the 21st century. You could have just Skyped or...
Well, you see, I tried that first, but it seems your security won't let the message be played over public networks. I said, how do I collaborate with them if I can't engage the problem?
So instead, I assume you didn't just knock on the door.
Well, I applied for a pass to examine Maud. Of course, I'd still like to do so. And let me say how truly, truly sorry I am about Tamara.
Thank you. So you're not scared to die?
On the contrary, Jeanette, I'm a terrible coward. Imagine if I discovered later that my contribution could have helped and I did nothing. I'd spend the next 40 years dying thinking about that.
What you did was dangerous and irresponsible, but I'm very glad to see you.
May I speak with Ty now?
We took her directly into Ty's office.
It's like someone dropped a treasure chest down the chimney.
Well, let's not count any chickens, huh?
Oh, I'll count all the chickens I want, thank you. This is great.
Well, then, would you do me the honor of playing me the message?
You want to join The Walking Dead?
No, but yes.
Let's do it.
The next morning, after an all-night brainstorming session with Ty and Robin, Kalpana talks to me for a few minutes before crashing.
My dream. My dream is an end to incisions in our lifetime.
Wow.
That's excessive. We'll always do incisions. Perhaps I should say that my dream is to see them become rare, to become boutique.
Okay. And ultrasound therapy is the key.
See, not the key. The beginning. The message is the perfect example. There's something about how those voices interact with one another that achieves extraordinarily sophisticated results.
I mean, how sophisticated is killing people?
Yeah, it depends on the method. When I use a sound wave on a patient, I must project it again and again to keep getting a result. With the message, maybe you hear it once, twice, 3 times, depending on your susceptibility, and then no more. But the disease keeps proliferating. The catalyst stops, but the effect continues. How? Oh. You did not join us at our meeting.
No. I'm scared. I don't want to hear the message anymore.
But you've already heard it how many times?
No, I have no idea. I'm not even sure.
You know, some have listened to it up to 3 times without contracting PA1. But no one listened to it 4 times without doing so. You can't be in any more danger than you already are now.
Forget about the danger for a second. She's awesome. We just landed a heavy-duty relief pitcher. I taped the following exchange as we all rated the new food delivery in the kitchen.
Dr. Lyons, my employers are delivering a fairly embarrassing amount of my equipment tomorrow. Could you arrange for it to get through?
Yep, I'm on it. I would have been happy with your brain, but equipment too?
They're a bit annoyed with me, but they want the store.
Well, I made it a point to stay current on all the technologies.
All right.
Shit. No.
Tell me.
Shit, wait, watch out. I gotta get her. Robin! Hi. Mom, what are you? Oh God. Oh,
It just started for him.
We need help.
Is this how it happens?
Yes, every time.
Yeah.
Somebody help us. All right. Ty.
It's 10 minutes later. Kalpana and the hazmat people are leaning over Ty. Robin is yelling and crying. I can't. This episode is over. I'm Nicky Tomalin, and this is Cyphercast. I hope you know from the news that Ty and Maud are still alive, but it's really scary. We're coming up on 16 days for Maud, which is as long as Tamara lasted. When you're the world's most valuable lepers, you get regular deliveries of everything you need: books, food, and equipment. Most of it's for Kalpana, who's been working on a treatment to help people with pulmonary anomaly 1. It's weird to suggest that there's any kind of upside to Ty catching a crippling case of PA1, but it did give Kalpana 2 patients to study instead of just 1. After 4 days of running tests, she presents her findings to us in the lobby, near Ty's sickbed. She's got this cool-looking handheld device.
So, this is a V-scan designed for non-invasive inspection of the inside of the human body. What I've done is modify this particular V-scan to recognize sound waves the way an ordinary ultrasound recognizes solid obstructions. I believe I've found where the message is operating within Ty and Maud.
So what are we looking at?
So this here, I found this exact same phenomenon in Maud's medulla as well.
How are you connecting it to the message?
2 reasons. It registers like a sound wave, and it should not be there.
Now, the medulla, that's the part of the brain that controls the lungs.
The medulla and pons, yes. I think the purpose of this phenomenon is somehow to mislead the cilia. You know cilia?
The little fibers in the lungs, the little hairs that keep the mucus moving.
Exactly. And as we see consistently in CT scans and ultrasound scans of PA1 patients, the cilia are behaving in a strange manner. They're directing mucus to where it will create the most obstruction in the bronchioles,
making it harder and harder to breathe until the patient drowns in their own phlegm.
At the moment, it's just a theory, but I want to inject the bubbles and direct ultrasound waves at them as before. But instead of using perforations created for medication, I want to use them to send specific vibrations into the medulla to create an effect of interference.
Like a counter message?
Yes, I like that, like a counter message.
To confuse the signal from the brain to the lungs.
Ideally causing the cilia to return to ordinary function.
Jeanette, can you track down someone from Maud's family and ask permission for this therapy?
Of course.
If you do that, I'll call Ty's wife. Ty, are you awake?
Why is that familiar?
Bridges suspended on song.
Probably just a dream.
God. Do we need to get the medical team back in here? Robin.
Start prepping Dr. Singh. I'll get the permission.
Robin hasn't spoken a non-work related word to me since that awful conversation 2 weeks back. As a result, I've stayed completely on edge around her, waiting for her to suddenly turn on me and say, "It should be you who's sick instead of them. You're the useless one. You're the one who lies." It wasn't until the day they delivered the portable shower
Yes, it works.
that Robin spoke to me.
Are you talking?
Oh, no, sorry. Oh my gosh, sorry. If you want to just grab, it's totally working right now. If you just want to grab a shower, and I will get out of your way.
Are you recording?
Yeah. Showercast.
I want you to do something for me.
Yeah, of course.
When you interviewed that man in Hawaii,
The one who worked with Lewis Carroll.
Yeah, right.
He mentioned a civilian observer, someone named Anders, who listened to the message many times over without being affected.
Listen, Robin, I think there's actually something else I should tell you
I've got
about.
some investigators working on it, but if you can put it out on your next podcast, if anyone knows Anders, if anyone knows his family, maybe he has some kind of immunity.
Robin,
we can use
there's
to-
something else that I should tell you about. Do you remember those words that Ty said in his sleep today?
Mm-hmm.
This is Maud. A few minutes after playing it for Robin, I'm playing it for Jeanette and Kalpana in the conference room. At this point, Kalpana and Jeanette are scrolling through PA1 case files as fast as they can.
Oh, this chart here. There's a nurse's notation. Had to re-intubate after patient tried to disconnect from ventilator and ranted about a city made of song.
It could be an actual song, but I'm not finding lyrics that much. I don't know.
Are we thinking subliminal suggestion? Something buried in the message?
Wait a minute. What if... No, what? I'm sorry, keep going.
What, Jeanette?
No, I'm being silly. Keep going.
Jeanette, stop walking. Take a breath. Now tell me your silly idea.
I'm thinking about NDEs.
NDEs, that's not...
Near-death experiences. You see accounts of them across cultures. Not just light at the end of the tunnel type stuff, but all kinds of accounts of spiritual visions recalled by people after a real close brush with death.
But it's nonsense, yes?
Yes. But it's how it's nonsense that's relevant. There's studies I've seen where you trigger asphyxia in a rat and watch the release of neurotransmitters go through the roof.
So, if you're having trouble breathing, if theoretically you're close to respiratory arrest,
there's lots of clinical evidence that being that close to death triggers a massive spike in cortical connectivity. And that's where NDEs come from.
Actually, there's a similar thing in surgery. When the heart stops on the operating table during brain surgery, there are often reports of a sharp increase in the release of high-frequency brain waves called gamma oscillations. If theoretically, very theoretically, one could use sound waves to manipulate gamma oscillations, it is possible that...
Yeah, you could implant thoughts. Thoughts like there's a city made of song. I don't know. I told you it was silly.
But it's not silly. It's Ty. Remember this from episode 3?
Never squash your silly idea. No, at least give it a chance.
This is Cypher, doing what Cypher does best.
So we think the message is depressing our respiration to make our brains more receptive to the message?
Yeah, look, I'm just working with what's in front of me here.
I think that's just about the most high thing I've ever heard.
Actually, that means a lot to me.
And he'd know what to do with it.
Were you able to get his wife's permission?
Yes, I was.
Then if you think it would bring him joy, we should try to wake him up to hear it.
Robin cleared the lobby so that only Kalpana and some hazmat doctors and nurses could operate on Ty. It was pretty quick, considering it involved injecting bubbles through a guy's skull. But apparently that's less difficult than you'd think. I actually slept through the whole thing, up until their laughter woke me up.
You're saying there are actually holes in my head.
Ty, there's always been holes in your
But can I touch my brain through it?
Touch your brain? The hole is minuscule.
Oh, he's messing with you, Golf.
Hey, Ty.
Hey, Nicky.
Oh, my God. So you're up, huh?
Yeah, well, unless this is all a happy dream.
If it was a happy dream, it'd probably be a little happier.
And it's one of those things where you should leave them alone. But you don't want to just run off, because how weird would that look? But, true to form, Robin got right back to business.
I need to tell you our theory.
3 hours later, we wheeled Ty's bed over next to Maud's. Maud's really groggy, but sitting up.
So, just so I'm clear, I'm totally not cured, right?
Well, according to my ultrasound, the sound-based phenomenon is still very present in your medulla. I was hoping the interference wave would dissipate it, but you see the sound waves are still there.
So we have to assume that once the counter message wears off, the message will reassert itself.
Meaning they're not gonna let us out.
And we're not cured. They just kicked the can down the road.
So, how do they get cured?
What is the one adjective that is always paired with disease? Communicable. Now, why did you start talking about a city made of song?
I mean, I don't remember. Was it almost like a voice?
Yes, a voice.
Like it didn't specifically say repeat after me, but I knew that's like what it wanted.
I always say communication is not just verbal, but what if it's chemical as well? What if it's possible for the speaker to communicate a message by altering the chemical makeup of the listener?
But that's not even a theory. For ants, that's basically a Tuesday.
There, you see, precedent. So, I think they're writing on the inside of our brains. But we have to be near death when they do it. Which is why you guys have to make me sicker.
What?
Put me in an acoustic-rich environment. Play the message over and over to me. No trait tube, only limited relief from Calvinist treatment. Keep my blood oxygen as low as you possibly can without killing me. And maybe then I can decode the message and we'll have our cure.
Except for the slight problem that I won't allow it. I won't. No!
The whole room waits in silence as Robin paces, breathes, then finally sits on the edge of Ty's bed.
You're a real pain in the ass.
What can I say?
Theodore, this treatment, I've only just designed it. You and Maud's procedures were a circus of trial and error. To do the kind of repeated, calibrated doses you're talking about, I'd need months of refinement.
You have a week. Then we start.
Start what?
Killing Ty as slowly as we can.
Join me next week for part 8 of Cyphercast. Hi, I'm Nicky Tomalin, and this is Cyphercast Part 8. Okay, so we're about to start this crazy procedure of semi-suffocating Ty in hopes of translating the message. I don't know how this is going to work or if any of us will be alive to upload this, so I'm just going to tape this as we go, and I don't know. What will happen will happen. Right now, several hazmat-suited medical and security staff are moving acoustical shells around Ty's bed. This is for when we play the message at him over and over in a few minutes. We're going to be playing the message on this podcast. I feel like I should give you a warning about that, but if you're hearing this recording, that either means that they found a cure or you're one of the few survivors of a PA1 ravaged America. So either way, I don't know how useful a warning would even be. Right, PA1. So, since last week, everyone here except for Robin and me has contracted it. Even we know it's just a matter of time. Robin has preemptively had her magic Calpina bubbles injected so she can begin getting treatment right away when she does contract it. Maud and Jeanette are setting up the equipment they'll be monitoring during the procedure. You guys want to just, tell me real quick what you're doing?
A lot of monitoring, like Maud, EKG, blood pressure, and especially this one here.
Oh, that's Calpina's handheld thing.
Yeah, it's the modified V-scan. It's how we're keeping an eye on the little message infestation in Ty's medulla.
So about
Right?
every 4 hours, we notice the shortness of breath returning. So we get another counter signal treatment by another 4 hours of life. You should really get the bubbles.
I know,
Nikki.
I know. I'm just really
Scared.
I
I know, but you're gonna be more scared once your breath starts going. Trust me.
When do they get here?
Hi, Kalpana. Robin just texted, so she should
Then
be
let's
here.
be ready to start right away, huh?
Okay, here you go.
Okay, so Ty and Robin have been down on the lab floor, ostensibly for last minute prep, but also we're all assuming for them to say whatever they need to say to each other before doing this stupid thing we're about to do. Kalpana, do you have a second for one question?
One.
Do you regret coming here?
I haven't slept. I'm scared. If you ask me this right now, the answer is yes.
Sorry, Kalpana.
But I can tell you something. I plan to have a different answer in an hour.
Robin's wheeling in Ty now.
Everything prepped?
It is. Thank you.
How you doing, boss?
He's conserving his energy for the
totally.
procedure.
Ty skipped his last treatment, so his breath is coming really slowly.
Let's wire him up.
If I could have you step back.
Yes, sorry. So what's happening now? Ty's on a rolling hospital bed, tilted, so he's sitting up. Robin's fixed him up with a keyboard like Tamara had. There's 2 rings around him, the 6 machines monitoring his vitals, and then the sound shells the hazmat people set up. And this has something to do with really concentrating the sound waves from the message onto Ty, essentially marinating him in it, if you can marinate in sound. So just outside the ring of machines, Kalpana has her ultrasound emitter on the ready to dose anyone who gets a PA1 attack during the procedure.
Okay, I'm starting in 2 minutes. So that means anyone who doesn't want to hear an earful of the message, you should be gone.
And that has all of the hazmat people leaving in a hurry.
Dr. Singh? Yes. So, what we hope to do is bring Ty as close to death as possible without actually killing him. As his asphyxia increases from repeated exposure to the message, I will administer low-level doses of counter-signal to correct the cilia and keep the mucus moving as best I can. Only Robin may make the call to turn off the counter-signal.
Damn, dude. You sure?
Thank you, Maud. I'm sure.
Ready? When you are.
Exposure 1.
Man, I forgot I messed up. There it is.
Blood oxygen fine so far. Well, not fine.
But relatively speaking.
Yeah. Exposure 2.
Okay, Ty's typing. Here, see if voice
Let's try to maintain
occurs.
this level.
Maud, are you okay?
Just remembering what this part's like.
Ty's typing. He's typed more.
Robin, I don't know.
It's Ty's body. He calls the plays.
Exposure 3.
All right, now it's not even relative.
Ty, give us an update.
Ty's typing, but really slowly, like he's typing underwater so far. Okay, he's typed, wants me to repeat, there's a city made of song.
We're in.
If gas exchange drops 1 more milliliter, I'm giving him
Not
a dose.
until I say.
He's typing, bridges suspended
At
on
a certain
song.
point, we're risking brain damage.
Typing chariots. Okay, chariots. Chariots is
He knows
new.
what he's doing.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He
Chariots.
doesn't have enough oxygen.
Chariots conveyed on
He literally
ripples
chemically does
of
not know
song.
what he's doing.
The whole city on a crisscross suspension of song. Okay, now he's typed more.
Robin, please, don't.
As soon as I do the exposure, you give him a hit of counter signal.
Robin, don't.
Exposure 4.
Oh God, look at these numbers.
Are you ready?
Look at his blood oxygen.
Dr. Singh?
Yes, administering CS now.
Actually, can I grab some too?
Just finishing up. Yes, come quickly, Jeanette. I thought everyone was up to date. The window must be getting shorter.
He's typing melodic edifices reaching beyond the clouds and every brick a verse.
All right, Dr. Singh, I want exactly this state, this level of...
Oxygenation. Maintained.
Oh shit!
Get Robin
Oh no!
here, get her to me.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying.
Jeanette, if I could have the V-scan.
Yeah. Okay. Might just be anxiety.
It's not. I got you.
Okay, so if that wasn't totally clear, Robin just suffered an onset of PA1 at basically the worst time possible.
Robin, I'm giving you 2 high amplitude bursts. It works like a short-term steroid, so we don't have to reapply during the procedure.
Okay, shit, Ty's typing. I got distracted. Okay, in every floor, on every verse of the superstructure of song, there is a vault.
A vault, that's a thing, right? Vaults of secrets inside. Maybe we were close.
Okay. I'm good.
You want me to take the V-scan back?
Just a minute. I want a closer look at Ty.
In every vault, in every tumbler,
Guys, pulse ox is looking really bad.
falls away in the face of the exquisite tenor
Oh, that's interesting.
of discovery. Holy shit.
Look at his skin, Robin. You have got to call this
The
now.
exquisite tenor of discovery.
Like Lewis Krull.
Lewis Krull used the exact same phrase on his deathbed. So close.
He's typing more.
Dr. Singh, be ready. I'm going for exposure 5.
He's blue, Robin. He's actually blue.
Oh, I feel like we're almost there.
I know what it is.
What?
The phenomenon in the medulla. I've been looking at it wrong. It's a cavity. It's an echo chamber.
Guys, can we please focus?
Okay, he's typing within the vault's walls.
How does the message keep working even when we stop listening to it? Because we don't stop listening to it. That's a hollow chamber that can keep a sound echoing indefinitely until the host organism expires.
So why doesn't it go away when we hit it?
Wait, how do you make a bell stop ringing?
You put your hand on it.
Right. What if blasting it is not the right way to go?
The wave's too strong. It needs to be weaker, like a tap, like a touch, just enough to
Unring the bell.
For God's sake, try it.
Okay, typing a sound held in stillness in liquid suspension.
Guys, we're in the vault. I feel like we're almost there. We might be almost at the church.
What if that's what this is?
It doesn't matter. He wants to get to the end of this sentence. You all know Ty. You know that's what he wants.
Ty's not in charge.
One sound to entangle all the world.
His blood ox is at 40. I don't know what we're supposed to do here.
Robin, I'll do as you say.
Unring the bell. Do it.
I'm targeting at low intensity.
Jesus.
He looks worse.
He's not breathing at all.
What happened?
Too hard, I hit it too hard. I accelerated the echo. Okay, tuning down, narrowing waveform.
He's dying, guys, he's dying.
High. Applying again.
It's gone. The echo pocket thing, it's gone.
Oh my god!
Oh wow.
This is good, right? KG, the blood thing, this is good, right? Hey! I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Okay, I'm picking up a bit later. It's, I guess it's about 90 minutes since I signed off. Didn't really feel like I should tape everyone hugging and crying. Although maybe I should have. Maybe people will be pissed later that we don't have that. Sorry, my bad. So I'm gonna sneak out in a second, leave this recording behind. Cypher can decide what to do with it. I still screwed up. Nothing that happened changes that. The least I can do for Robin is spare her firing me. But just out of curiosity, let's hear what they're saying now.
All we have are these words. I mean, look at it. Everything that was whispered to me while I was under. It's all right there. What?
And every bolt and every tumbler falls away in the face of the exquisite tenor of discovery.
You're the literature PhD, Jeanette. Pretend this didn't come from aliens. What would you call it?
I mean, crap. I call it crap.
Yeah, it's doggerel. It's meaningless. It's a smokescreen.
Why would aliens trick us into reading garbage teenage poetry?
It's a stalling tactic. It's something to keep us looking at that screen while somebody figured out the echo chamber. I mean, think about it. Why would a message just be a cure?
A cure for a disease they gave us.
Exactly.
It's like, thanks for that solution to the problem you created, Dix.
Well, unless this isn't the only application.
Keep going.
Unless the new work with sound waves that Kalpana did just this week. Maybe.
Shit. We haven't even really stepped back and looked at that, have we?
If sound waves can do everything we've seen them do just today,
What else can they do? They didn't send us a message, they sent us a tool.
which we have because somebody made the right call at the right time.
And now everyone's looking at Robin. I think I'm gonna call it a day. I think I'm gonna say, I'm Nicole Tomalin, and this has been Cyphercast, and I'm just...
Nikki?
Yes?
Are you leaving?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I'm just gonna pack up my desk and, yeah.
Okay.
It's the right thing to do. Right? Yeah, you guys aren't saying anything, so I'm gonna, yeah.
I'll be up to say goodbye in a minute.
No, you don't have to do that. You really don't have
It's
to
no
do
problem.
that. Okay.
Bye, Nikki.
And I'm walking away now. I don't want to put them in the position of, look, I'm probably not going to podcast again. So for anyone who's ever listened to Cyphercast, thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Nikki?
Oh, Robin. Sorry, I didn't.
I've got to get back out front, a lot of people to talk to, but I just wanted to make sure you hadn't uploaded the podcast yet.
Oh, no. I just finished putting it all on the Cypher Dropbox, but I
Just because
haven't.
it still has the message on it and Kalpana is still getting the cure out there.
Yes. I think I'm gonna just let you guys have it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think my podcasting days are, I think I'm gonna just move on.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, you look a little odd without a mic in your hand.
Can I still ask you a question without one?
You're definitely not recording?
Nope, definitely not.
Then sure. What's your question?
Why didn't you let Ty finish typing the message? It might have been important. It might still be.
People will probably say I did it for him.
Did you?
It wasn't about him. These are our bodies. This is how we breathe. If these aliens want to talk to us, they have to respect us.
Wow. Yeah.
If they want to talk to us, they have to respect us.
Exactly.
If you want to talk to us, you have to respect us. The exquisite tenor of discovery. The phrase both Ty and Lewis Krell used decades apart.
Yeah, that was crazy. But I think my favorite part.
Yeah, but you shouldn't know that. That was in the file Eubanks gave me. And I didn't share it with anyone.
Well, maybe Ty.
Gave it right back to Eubanks after I read it.
Well,
and then there's the thing where you're the only person in this building who's never gotten sick. See, I keep thinking about something Ty predicted on your very first podcast. How there would be a carton of orange juice, and we'd keep looking right past it.
What do you want to have happen here, Robin?
I want you to respect me. I think I've earned it. The way I see it, the only way you could know about Krell's visions...
As if I was actually there.
Except that you weren't even born in 1968.
I was born over 700 years ago. I look different with Krell.
The civilian observer, Anders? And I'm guessing every team that's worked on the message had a civilian observer, and it was
always you.
Yes.
You hacked the University of Chicago servers.
The real Nicole Tomalin died of alcohol toxicity in 2012. It takes time to create a facsimile body. We needed to explain the interval she was missing.
And if you could hack the university servers, who's to say you couldn't hack the NSA?
Neither system presented any challenge.
The death certificates. Because if I'd known all the decryptors had the same symptoms before they died, I never would have pressed play.
You needed a push. The message had been languishing for decades. You needed the disease out in the open.
Hundreds of people died. Tamara died. Ty could have died right in front of my eyes, and you could have just told us all this 70 years ago.
It's a hard lesson we've learned over a long time. Those we simply save, they don't last. Those who save themselves, they have a chance.
Save from what?
Every time a species crosses a certain threshold, we send them the message.
But you said it 70 years ago. What threshold?
Yes.
The first atomic tests.
Indicating that you were ready to think at this level, but not necessarily to implement at this level. Remember the conversation your team had just now about sound waves, their applications? What's the one thing that none of you suggested?
Using it as a weapon.
Yes.
But just because we haven't.
As of today, you have a new tool of immeasurable potential for healing and for destruction.
So now it's on us to decide how to use it. It was never a message. It was a test.
A test you have to keep taking now. Every single day.
And the podcast?
You've been able to track our transmissions for 70 years. This was the best way to send updates back to my team. Hidden in plain sight.
Then why aren't you uploading this one?
This one, I will report in person. Very shortly, in fact.
This building is surrounded by soldiers.
They can't stop me from leaving. You have my utter assurance of that.
I'll tell everyone.
If you like. I'll be gone by then. And this body will be found dead with high blood alcohol content. Whatever you tell people I said will be attributed to that.
God, that poor girl.
In 50 years, you may look back and say, my use of her body saved your race.
I've changed my mind. Leave.
And then I will.
Then someone called to me from the lobby and I looked over my shoulder. When I looked back, Nicky was gone. I went to her computer and messaged Maud, made sure they'd been able to tape the whole conversation through the webcam. Then I went out front to join my team. I'm Robin Lyons. This has been Cyphercast. We'll be back.
The Message is a production of GE Podcast Theater in partnership with the Panoply Network. The podcast was written by Mac Rogers, directed by Rachel Walther, produced by Sarah Lilly, sound design by Brendan Baker, and created in partnership with BBDO and The Grid. Starring
Anna Purnashriram,
Kathy Keene,
Robert Stanton,
Meryl Jones-Williams,
Gideon Glick,
Emma Galvin,
Mithu Chalana,
Brian Haley,
Gene Jones,
Darius Homayun.
The executive producer was Andy Bowers. Production assistants were Jacob Appett and Taylor McNulty. The prop master was Rebecca Sen, and mic operators were Alastair Ferrant and Danny Lewis. Thanks to Andrea Salenzi, Sean Ariel-Lehrer, Avatar Studios, Michael Amet, Marissa Amendolia, Jenny Barish, Sarah Bentley, Laura Carenti, Alexa Kristen, Andrew Chugg, Zach Dinerstein, Lucy Ford, Andy Goldberg, Tim Gunatalaka, Trevor Guthrie, Matt Heinzimmer, Dan Coys, Henry Malofsky, Laura Mayer, Jimmy Palumbo, Nick Qua, Tim Rohn, Emily Rubin, Levi Slavin, June Thomas, and Matt Turk. all rights reserved.